got the need for speed. America's mechanic at the helm, Fred Fletcher, and we've got Earl Krause with us.
Yeah, we got a lot going on this episode because we got to make up for last night because we had Nick and I tried to do a Facebook Live from my shop, and it worked out okay, but not as well as it could have because my Wi-Fi sucks over there. I found a way to work with the Wi-Fi, getting a new Wi-Fi set up over there, and we're gonna do things from there. We'll do things from the studio, and
Krause in the house.
Yep, we're going to do our Earl Krause's time capsule, and we also have the star of the time capsule here on the radio with us.
Nice.
What's happening, Earl?
Hey, good morning, Fred. Good morning, Jim.
Hey.
Indeed, looking forward to the time capsule along the way. That's going to be certainly fun this summer. Looking forward to getting a lot of the racing legends on the show. A little history. So, yes, indeed, looking forward to that.
Yeah, we had a good time doing it. It was about a half-hour show. You can catch it on our Facebook. I'm gonna send it over to have it put on the YouTube channel, the America's Mechanic YouTube channel, and people can watch it there. It was really fun and interesting to do that with you and Mark and Nick.
Yeah, Mark Gable and I, we go back a long way into the late 1970s. That's when I first met Mark, when he had the number 99 small block modified that Johnny Leach drove, Nick's brother, and they had a lot of success there. And when I first started writing for Area Auto Racing News, the first track that I covered regularly was East Windsor Speedway in just outside of Hightstown, New Jersey, and a nice half-mile dirt track. And among the first people I met as a beginning writer with Area Auto Racing News was Mark and his driver Johnny Leach. And always remember, they gave me a lot of great information, technical and just basic information about the number 99 and what that type of racing was all about, and really helped me along the way. And again, Mark and I became very good friends, and we have lunch at least once a month, if not more. And we always talk about the racing memories. Because we always say, Mark and I do, that we were probably, as youngsters, sitting right alongside each other in the grandstand at East Windsor Speedway on Friday nights, as well as some of the other local tracks. So it's always good to sit down with Mark. And again, we'll be looking forward to more of the time capsule along the way. I know Nick mentioned last night, you and Nick, that you're looking to have Stan Plosky on with one of the shows. Yeah,
Nick had talked to Stan the Third and interviewed Hunter, because Hunter won the rookie race down in New Egypt last week. So he interviewed.
That's great. Yeah, keeping the tradition going in the family.
Yeah. So we got. And he said they'd get. Well, Nick calls him Uncle Butch, but Stan Senior, who I remember watching as a kid racing. So we were going to get the whole Plosky family in to do a time capsule with us over at the studio, and
that'd be great.
They were all on board. So and I was over with Craig yesterday. We're going to set up a new set, because we're going to have so many people. We're going to have a round table. And we're going to really expand on this. And we've had really good feedback on what we've done so far. So we're really looking forward to carrying this forward.
Absolutely. Very good.
So anything, what's going on, anything going on practice-wise or anything at Wall this weekend? Or?
Yeah, last weekend at Wall Stadium, kind of getting the adrenaline going. Last Saturday was Tech and Tire Day. Various race teams from the different divisions at Wall that brought their cars down to get teched before the season, purchase new tires, and they'll be on the track for real this weekend, Friday evening, and all day Saturday. Be open practice, free grandstand too for the fans to come in on Friday evening from about 5 until 8. They're not going to turn the lights on the speedway, but the drivers will be out there doing test and tune from, again, about 5 in the afternoon till around 8 o'clock. And then on Saturday, about 11 o'clock in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, again, the grandstands will be open for the fans to come in and watch the drivers test their cars prior to the season. And then May 17th, Saturday night, May 17th, the 75th anniversary opening day at Wall Stadium. So looking forward to that as well. So getting back underway, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm planning on being down there on the 17th after I leave McGuire Air Force Base, because I'm going down for the air show. And
That's
then,
right. And by the way, thank you for your service too as a Air Force veteran. I was Navy, and
well, thank you too.
So pretty proud of our service to our country.
Yes, always. I would think about it every day, and every time I look at my car and see the C-141 and all my Air Force stuff, I stuck to it. So
yeah, I saw on the show last night when you had the camera inside the car. There, you had the various Air Force items in there, kind of a nice salute to our military. That was good.
Yeah, I put the I got out as a sergeant, so I had my sergeant stripes in there, and
nice.
my center of my steering wheel is a C-141 the center cap from the C-141, the Star Lifter.
You're the Arlie Ermy of the Air Force at the time.
There you go. So we have a bunch of stuff, and I just having fun doing that with that car. So but I plan on being down the Wall and seeing what's going on down there, and having a great year, going back and forth between between all the tracks, but mostly for me between New Egypt and Wall.
That's great. It's always good to have you down there.
Yeah, I love being down there.
Yeah, Wall has so much history. As I mentioned before, it's kind of neat that, especially in the early days, we've talked about this before, 1950s and pretty much into the early 60s, race drivers could run the same car on dirt and pavement, and not only run it, but also win on both surfaces. And Wall Stadium, a high-banked third-mile asphalt speedway, Frankie Schneider, one of the all-time legends in dirt racing, won the very first modified feature at Wall Stadium, Memorial Day weekend, 1950. So that's kind of cool that Frankie Schneider was the guy who won the first race at Wall.
Yeah.
1950.
Yeah.
Older than me.
Yeah. I saw Frankie towards the end of his career, like maybe mid 70s.
Oh wow.
And I guess he ran until the 80s, didn't he, Earl?
Pretty much, yes. That's what he was kind of scaling down. I remember him at Flemington. Yes, latest probably like 1982, 83, 84, right in there.
Okay.
Maybe even a little bit later that he raced. It was interesting. He came back and actually ran a few times again in the early 80s at New Egypt Speedway. Went back when it was still a quarter-mile paved oval. Frankie would come there and run some of the NASCAR events with with regular asphalt modified near the end of his career. So great guy, and as you probably did, if you talked to Frankie, when of course he was always very accessible at the speedway itself when he was in the pit area, but when he would be at various events, especially after he retired, and you catch him at a racing reunion, man, he had some wonderful stories. He was incredible, and just what a life he led, and it was so neat, and we'll always remember him, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember my dad talking to him and being awestruck with him, and let alone me being awestruck with him. He'd signed a couple of autographs for me and a couple of pictures, I remember. I don't remember having conversations because I was probably standing on my tongue. But I was just looking at him like, oh my God, because he was legendary walking through the pits. It was like, Nick and I were talking, I think we talked as well, about certain people that just carried an air through the pits. Frankie was one of them, Ken Bren Sr.,
absolutely.
Ollie Butler, a couple guys like that. They were just like Altaz Nady. Those guys were just, they had an air about them when they went through the pits where it was just like, it's like to us watching the president walk by.
Yes, that's a perfect comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And I always recall drivers like Altaz Nady, Gentleman Joe Kelly, who was one of my favorites, for the time I was a young fan, Billy Pouch Sr. All those drivers, no matter how how the night of racing went, obviously if they won, things were good, but even if they had a bad night, they would take the time to meet the kids after the races. They'd stay and talk to the kids, and they would make them feel special. And that, I think that's what it's all about. We've talked about that before. That's what is so neat about Saturday night short track racing.
Yeah, I don't know if I have selective memory, but I don't remember any of them ever being, turning me down as a kid.
No.
Had an autograph or shaking my hand or whatever. I don't remember any of them doing that. And I doubt if they did. So, but
I recall Billy Pouch Sr., for example, that all the years he'd race, that at the end of the night, he would sit at the back of his hauler, like sit on the back deck of it there, so he'd be at eye level with the kids. Like he wouldn't be looking down at them. Like he'd be just sitting right there, and then the kids would come up to him, and he'd talk to them and sign autographs. That's how Billy is. You know, he's great like that. And his son, Billy Jr., is the same way. So.
Yeah, you can always talk to Billy. We ran into him a couple times in motorsports,
Yes.
and he was always up for an interview or even just a BS session. And the whole racing community is great that way. I really can't think of anybody that I would say is a jerk. You know.
Yeah.
No.
So.
Well, they're passionate. They're passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
And it comes through.
Yeah.
So
They enjoy what they do, and
yeah.
you know, a bad day of racing still better than a good day at work.
It's well put there.
Garage, though. You know, everything at Fletcher's Garage is always very upbeat. So.
Yeah, we try to keep it upbeat. we have our days, but I guess we all do. But
Well, that's why I always enjoy listening to the automotive show first thing in the morning there on Thursday. You guys are always really good on that. That's always get some good information, so that's always fun to do.
well, thank you. I try to keep up. This morning I just I wasn't into it, so I'm like, I'm just going to call it Random Thought Thursday.
Yeah, we
So
back,
just
we
talk
back
about
into
whatever.
it. Yeah, that's what we do.
So it's just probably better off that way.
Yeah, and the show is always somebody messing up, or some car
You know what
company
it is, Jim? I
messing it up all the time.
Yeah,
It's like foul-ups, bleeps, and blunders.
Oh yeah, but there's always recalls.
Bloopers.
Recalls to fall back on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But, usually anything we talk about ends
Blooper
up as
day.
a random thought anyway.
You know, it's funny you were talking about the inspection lines. I can remember years ago, same thing here in New Jersey, you know, where I live, you know, going with my dad and then later on myself, you know, sitting in those inspection lines and just waiting, you know, somewhat impatiently, listening to the AM radio, you know, try to kill time. So,
Yeah. Well, funny story.
I went through, one time I went through the line. This is years and years ago, like 35 years ago probably. And I forget what car I even had. And they failed me for emission. So it was like the early days of admission. And they said, you know, slapped...
the big old red fail sticker.
Yeah. Take that.
Big old red fail sticker.
Big power struggle there.
I think it had a stop sign on it, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and it covered up the whole thing. You couldn't hide it. You know?
Yep. It was probably something minor. I forget exactly how it all turned out. But it's like, man, you sit here all that time and, you failed.
Yeah. One time my grandfather took a car through and he failed. And then I was in the Air Force then. So I said, let me take it out. And I just happened, I just took it back up there in my uniform. We didn't do anything to it. And it went right through. So I guess, the uniform was carrying weight that day.
Yeah.
So.
The right place at the right time.
All right, Earl, well, we'll be talking, and I'll be down at Wall next week, and we'll be talking before that, I'm sure.
Tear down that wall.
Okay, very good. Well, enjoy the rest of this day and the weekend, and good luck with your debut there on Saturday at Wall Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, as they say, keep it between the fences.
That's it.
All right, have fun.
All right, thanks, Earl.
Thank you, Earl.
Take care. We'll see you. Bye.
Yeah, I caught a little bit the Wild Wednesday there you guys were putting together. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah, we did it from the, like I said, we had a problem with the Wi-Fi in the shop, so we moved it into the office, which was a little better.
Yeah, a little acoustics.
We didn't get to do, just the Wi-Fi, because we had
find a hotspot.
We usually have a 7-second delay here because of language, but over there we had like a 45-second delay.
Because of language, that's pretty good. and let's add to be a little more profane right now.
Yeah, there you go.
And you're up, my man. Hello there, Nick. How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Foxwell, Fred Fletcher, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing all right there.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can with what we got.
Yeah, well, we did all right with it.
On the road again.
So.
Yep. And I got my dedication this morning from Mr. Foxwell.
Early and often.
Yep, my phone started blowing up as soon as that happened. So.
That's right.
But, beautiful day out here today. Mother Nature's, somebody must have gave her a kiss or something.
Yeah.
So Mom, it's Mom's weekend. That's the way it works.
So.
Yeah, well, we finally got some racing in last week at New Egypt. Bridgeport had a show. They were doing some kind of four-wheel drive stuff. They had a nice show down there, but we got some racing in at New Egypt. Ryan Godown won the modified feature. Jerry Wills won the sprint car feature. And the sportsman feature Well, the rookie sportsman feature was won by Hunter Fox
Yeah.
Yeah.
about the Plofskys, and then the sportsman feature was won by Pat Wall. But yeah, we got some racing in. We had a shower and lasted maybe about 10 minutes. Actually made the track better, and yeah.
You got one under your belt.
Saturday.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I missed it last week, but I won't miss it this week. So.
No, he's definitely not going to. He's got autographs to sign and some laps. So
Yeah.
he's going to make a great famous.
We'll see. We'll see about the autographs. I will do some laps though. So.
A lapse in judgment. We'll probably have a few of those as well.
I did just find out. I found when we were poking around yesterday in the shop. I found a slow leak in my one tire in the left front, and it was a 48 tire, which I know Nick understands. And,
Okay.
So I went on the New Egypt website because I knew they had a tire regulation on it. So I actually have the wrong compound tire on the
Not
left
for
front.
your class. Not for your class, Fred. You can
That's not what I heard.
You know what?
I think Nick Marco was trying to sell a tire.
Well,
I'm buying the correct compound tire, so there's no question when I get there. I don't want Matt Rozier to sit there and tell me I can't go out on the track and then me have to do a donut around them or something.
Now here's a prime example. Okay, if you're keeping your car to nostalgia specs, there ain't no freaking.
Huh?
1970.
Talk about
Are
delay.
you
Yeah.
kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I'm just going by
Okay.
what I saw on the thing, and all I have to do is put a 33 on the left front. The other four are good. So
Let me be standing in tech when they try to pull that. There ain't no way that they're gonna make you run a spec tire in a vintage traveling class. It ain't happening.
I take your word for it. I'm just I want to make sure it's all good. It's all good.
Let's put it this way. Not on the car that I own that you're driving. How about that?
Okay. There we go. Well,
Okay, let's put it that way. That ends it right then and
yeah,
there.
hear that,
I
Nick
got-
Marco? I'm not buying your tire.
Wow.
No, I am buying
You
next
don't
time.
have to have a spec tire on a vintage car. Are you kidding me?
That's okay.
It's a vintage car.
This way, nobody can walk by and say, "Hey, he's got a 48 on there. It should be a 33." So.
Oh my God! Yeah, somebody's gonna walk by and say, "Oh, Fred, you won the vintage feature, which is supposed to be an exhibition, and you had the wrong tire on. I finished second. Give it to me." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, they can't do it anyway now.
I'm checking his blood pressure. It's about
All
180.
right, calm down, Nick.
It's about 180 over 120.
Calm down, Nick. I'm just going to put the tire on and be done with it. But we're going to have some fun Saturday, as you can tell.
Yeah, the tire pressure is lower than his blood pressure right now.
So, yeah.
We're
So.
gonna get thrown out before we even get there. I'm
That's
not even
impossible.
excited yet. Wait till I get excited. Marco, call me on the phone. You got my number. Call
Well,
me.
Nick's going to call here probably with 2 minutes left.
Hello.
I told Nick to call at 10 of, not 2 of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll be calling here soon. But yeah, real quick, well, let's go over what's going on in New Egypt this weekend. Bridgeport's having a tractor pull, I think. So we'll have some.
kind of tractor control.
Yeah,
We're
so-
going to have the 305 sprints. The Mass Sprint Car Series is going to be there.
Right.
Modified for 4 cylinders. And Dom the Bomb Antonelli is one of the drivers of the week this week.
Nice.
So I'll get a chance to throw 10 questions at him this week. Tanner Van Dorn's going to be driver of the week. And, of course, you have the new sprint cars are going to be back, of course. But, yeah, full field of cars. And with Bridgeport not running, we're probably going to have some invaders. So it ought to be an interesting weekend. And it's going to be more interesting when I take my vintage car to tech.
Yeah, so we this weekend. So we tell everybody it's ladies' night. So $10
Yeah.
general admission for all ladies. So
That's right.
So my wife will be there.
Yep.
The grandstands open at 4. Hot laps start at 5. The racing starts at 6. The vintage class probably run about 7:30, 8 o'clock is what I'm figuring. They usually run after some of the heats.
Yeah, but they run you a couple times, I think. You know, and You'll be all right.
Yeah.
We'll get you some laps in there. We'll have some fun.
Get some laps in there, and then get out there and figure out how to shift. So I'm looking at things. Yeah, it's just going to be a good night in New Egypt Speedway. Once I put it in high gear, I'll just leave it there. So I'll be okay shifting.
Yeah, just leave it there. We got to give you a push. We'll give you a push.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good weekend of racing for a lot of racetracks. So
Right.
if you're not coming to New Egypt, go to your local racetracks, support your local racing, because we need all the racetracks we can. And I'll see you Saturday.
All right, my
In
man.
the meantime, I'll bring my baseball bat.
Okay.
I'll see you before that.
All right. Take care.
All right, Nick.
Bye-bye now.
See you guys. Yep.
On the road again. We're going to transition. We have Nick's 1, and now Nick 2 is with us.
Hey.
Hello, Nick. Marco.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, what's happening?
Marco Polo.
I'll still buy your tire. I don't care what Nick says.
Never heard that before. Yeah, so, anyway, with the tires, Nick's right with that. There are no spec tires for the vintage cars. As far as engines, you can run any engine you want, from a 6-cylinder, small block Chevy, 482 Chevy, tires. You can run whatever you want.
That's good, because I have a 358
American Races, Hoosiers, whatever.
Yeah, I kind of figured that, but I just don't want to have any problems. And for the sake of the fact that tire is bad in my left front, and I'm going to buy a tire anyway, I might as well buy one that there's no question about. So that's fine with me. Yeah, and that'll be the last tire I buy for ever, maybe. So.
Yep, I hear you. So last weekend, rain won with 48 cancellations. So that was a total washout there.
Yeah, I didn't see much racing going on last weekend.
No. So with Earl, we were talking about Frankie Schneider. Frankie raced at Langhorne. He won there, I think, twice, in 54 and in 62, when it was still dirt. And I think he had close to 750 wins altogether. And the thing that always amazed me about Frankie is that he lived really, really close to Flemington. I mean, he could be there in 10 minutes, but he raced at Orange County up in New York. And he had a little Frankie's Sausage Bar restaurant there right outside of turn 1. So it's just funny that he lived near Flemington, but he raced, pretty far away.
Yeah, he raced all over. Every time I look at an old results from different tracks, whether it's Nazareth, Reading, upstate New York, whatever, it's Frankie Schneider's there. It's like, he was good. And a funny
and the cars that
funny story with that, real quick. I said it before, but I remember Kerry Schloter needed a carburetor, and my dad went over and borrowed one off of Frankie and bolted it up to Kerry's car. And Kerry went out, and he's like, "Oh my God, I can't control this car. It's like putting a turbo on it." It was like, he couldn't believe it. Was like having 2 engines in the car, just from that carburetor. But yeah, go ahead with your story.
All right, so with Frankie, some of the cars that he had the old coupes and coaches and stuff like that. But then later on, he also had a Grand King car, and he had a Kenny Weld car. So he was up at the times later on in his career. And I think he finished racing in '99, or finished going on the track in '99, somewhere around there.
Wow, he went for a long time, almost 50 years there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what'd you catch on NASCAR this weekend?
All right. I know that Nick wants me to talk about Formula One and Indy, but I'm going to talk about NASCAR first.
Yeah, let's do NASCAR.
All right. So for the trucks, last Friday at Texas, so we talked about Texas last week about how the tires fall off really quickly, and there are a lot of wrecks in all 3 classes. I think they had like 12 to 13 caution periods in each one of the 3 events, because the tires went away. And so for the trucks, Corey Heim won it in the Toyota, Daniel Hemrick, Raja Caruth, Tyler Ankrum and Chevys were 2, 3, 4, and then the Toyota was Tanner Gray.
Okay.
What I'm calling now for Stewart, we always talk about Stewart because he's the dirt guy.
Right.
So I'm rephrasing that to the Stewart report.
Okay. Sounds good.
So for the Stewart report, he qualified in 23rd, wasn't too good. He finished 24th with 11 laps to go, he was fighting for second, and he's down on the inside of turn 4, which is where most of the mishaps happened. And he's on the inside, and the truck on the outside kind of took his air away. And Stewart got a little squirrely and basically lost it, went up to the and hit Grant Enfinger and the wall, and wrecked his truck. So that's his third DNF in a row, I believe.
Yeah,
but,
he's not having a good time with the trucks this year.
Yeah. So
hopefully he turns it around.
But so he dropped to 11th in the points. Let me talk about Tony Breitinger, the Canadian female who races in the trucks, and she was 26th. So the next up for them is Kansas this Saturday. So let's see what happens there. All right, so then for the Xfinity, we talked before about all the blocking going on in NASCAR. So Kyle Larson was subbing for Connor Zilic, who was blocking like crazy in a race 2 weeks ago, and he got hit because he was blocking so much, and he hit the wall pretty hard. So he was out for the last week anyway. So Larson filled in for him and won. Taylor Gray was second. Riley Herbst was third. Austin Hill fourth, and Sam Mayer was fifth. Again, a lot of cautions out there because they're driving right on the edge and the tires are letting go. And from what they say, that's like a sister track to Charlotte, but turns 1 and 2 they're flatter. And then a lot of stuff happened in turn 4. So I mean, just a very
that'll whoop up some
bad day
tires.
or bad weekend. A lot of drivers really don't care for that track too. So, but anyway. So Larson went from 20th up to second with a few laps to go, and then he took the lead. He led 32 laps, so it was a good day for him. And then he was leading a lot in the Cup Series. Let's flip over here.
Yeah,
And,
I watched the Cup Series, and I was looking at the little thing in the corner, and it had green and yellow, and how many laps were green, how many laps were yellow, and there was a lot of yellow up there.
A lot of
Oh, yeah.
caution,
A
huh?
lot of cautions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy was
So
going back and forth
Larson
between that and Phillies
actually-
game.
Yeah. So Larson on Sunday was a dominant car, but he finished fourth. He led 90 laps. So Joey Logano won it. Ross Chastain came out of nowhere and finished second.
Right.
Ryan Blaney, then Larson, Jones was fifth. Stenhouse was sixth. So, I mean, it was a good day for Joey Logano. He just hung up around the front, and
He had to work it
actually
at the
battling-
end, though. I saw that. He had to really work it at the end because Chastain
Yeah,
was coming
yeah.
on hard. So.
yeah, he was. Yep. So, notable, Bell finished 9th, Byron 13th, Chase Elliott 16th, Kyle Busch 20th, Josh Berry he led 41 laps, and I think he lost it in turn 4 too.
Yeah.
And finished 32nd.
I was following him. I'm a Josh Berry fan, so I'm a Wood Brothers
Yeah.
fan. So so I always follow that car,
Right.
no matter who's driving it. But I'm
Yeah.
a Josh Berry fan, and I saw that.
Yep.
What happened to him?
Okay.
And then Denny Hamlin grenaded an engine. So things just blew up. Lots of flames coming out of his car. So but so they're at Kansas this weekend. The Xfinity is not running, just the trucks on Saturday and then the Cup on Sunday. So
No, the only one that matters this weekend is me. I'm running New Egypt.
Yeah.
Running Kansas.
Well, you too, Mark.
Yep.
Nick, you can run through next alongside me as you pass me.
Running the Toto 200 in Kansas, I think, right? Something like that.
So, well, we're gonna have to roll, Nick, because we're running up on the time, and then we'll catch up on the Wide Open Wednesday Facebook feed, and then we'll see if we can get that all worked out for next week.
Take care.
All right.
All right,
Sounds
Nick.
good.
I'll talk to you in a
See you
bit.
later, guys.
All right, let me know. I'll
Thank you
stop
much.
over and pick up that tire.
There you go. Nick's
All
1
right.
and 2.
Yep. All right.
You
Thanks.
bet.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye. There you go. Nick's 1 and 2, the personality seems to be a little different there.
Yeah, a little
a little more low-key there. That's kind
Still
of nice.
Still have the same mission. Just
God.
get the racing out there, get the fun out there.
That's right. Get your hearing checked when it's all over, when you're done with
Yeah,
Nick. My
I
goodness.
fired up my car yesterday. It was nice and loud.
Now,
all right.
loud and proud. That's
Yep.
how you want to roll. That's
So,
right.
yeah, everybody have a great week. If you want to come out and do something different, come out and watch us run on New Egypt. We'll be there from 4 o'clock on.
And happy Mother's Day.
And happy Mother's Day. And happy anniversary to my wife, Nancy, which will
Oh.
be Sunday, too.
Nice.
34 years.
34.
So-
Going strong.
Yeah.
Right on here. Coming up.